All right, our talk about the age of Aquarius, and hopefully you have been practicing Kapalbhati breathing and nurturing your nervous system. So I wanted to continue that conversation. Yogi Bhajan has actually given us 5 sutras. Sutra is literally translates to thread. So, or another term for it is law. It's like the ways to the things to implement into your life and into the way that you're thinking and moving through your day, and that will help you make this transition that we're going through and shifting into the age of Aquarius. So these are just helpful ways of being in this new time. And I thought they were incredibly, pertinent to what's happening in this moment and super helpful. So let's start. So the first sutra is, we must begin to see through the eyes of compassion, or we will misunderstand the times. So understanding through the eyes of compassion. This is so powerful. Right now, this is saying, essentially what Yogi Bhajan is saying is he wishes that you would step into the other person's shoes. Can we see through eyes of compassion what that other being is going through? Try and see it through their eyes. So compassion is not just, oh, I feel bad for you, but it's, how does it feel to be in that person's skin, or in that animal, or that plant, or just wherever you want to experience the stepping in and seeing it from the other viewpoint. The experience of seeing through the eyes of compassion is to also look at yourself in this way. So how can you give yourself a little bit more compassion and grace, as maybe you might be going through some challenges as well. So this is where the second sutra comes in and really helps and plays really nicely with that first one. The second sutra is to recognize that the other person is you. So again, it's really easy then to, if we're having compassion for this other person, if we're viewing their struggles as ours, right? We're seeing through the other person as ourselves, or understanding that their struggle is our struggle, then it's very easy to have compassion for them, because we don't want to be struggling ourselves. So if we can understand what it must feel like for them. So if we could go through and experience the other person as ourselves, seeing that reflection coming back at us. So every single person that we embark or encounter in our day, this is us looking at us. And so, we might be more inclined to lend a helping hand, or, to smile, which is really just a simple way of showing compassion and connection and kindness. And so the third sutra is, when the pressure is on, act, and the pressure will be off. And this is huge. And many of us are being forced to really look. We're in pressure cookers right now. It's insane. We're having to readdress our career choices, our families, our relationships, our homes, our so many things are really being looked at carefully in this moment. And oftentimes in that space, we suddenly feel that urge within us. It's compelling us towards an action of some sort, a forward movement. And so, this could be as simple as your list of to-dos. We all know how good it feels when we have a whole list of things that we need to do, and just to start checking one off at a time. Each time we check one, we get lighter, we feel freer, we feel better. Well, oftentimes there's that one compelling, like that big heavy thing that's sitting and weighing on us. We can feel it as a literal weight on our shoulders or on our minds. And this could be the letting go of a relationship that isn't working, or the shift or the change or the release of a job, or even just an old belief system that isn't working. An old story that you've been holding on to that isn't serving you anymore. So there's so many things that we know, oftentimes the action that we need to take, and it's sitting there, and we just keep putting it off and putting it off. And the longer we put it off, that burden gets heavier and heavier. And so again, Yogi Bhajan says, when the pressure is on, act, and the pressure will be off. So this is Sutra number 3. Sutra 4 is, there is a way through every block. So, what he's saying is that when we are creating forward movement in our life, oftentimes in forward movement, we're going to feel as though we hit a block, hit a barrier. And this could be in any area of our life. And what he's saying is, don't bring your attention, don't give your focus to the block, to the barrier. Stay focused on the end goal, on where you're headed, on the other side of that block. Keep focusing your attention there. And that is how we find the way through the block. And there always is a way. So, it's never impossible until you say it is. So he says, no, there's a way through every single block. And all you have to do is stay focused on looking for the solution, looking for the resolution, whatever that is, and it will show itself. Don't focus on the block. And that really is moving into a space of faith, of trust, that there is a way. I recognize there's a block here, but I also know there's a way through it. And the 5th one is really the gateway to finding that path through the block. And so the 5th one is vibrate the cosmos, and the cosmos will clear a path. So this is huge. One of the biggest things that we can do right now, and in the previous video, I spoke to that about honoring our nervous system, strengthening our nervous system. Well, elevating your vibration, staying connected to staying positive. So we cannot say that we're in a high vibration or vibrating with the cosmos. And again, he's saying cosmos because we think of them as the ether, as the infinite, as limitless and expansive. And that feels light and free in the ether. And here is dense and heavy. And we want to move away from the energy of heavy and dense of the earth. And we want to move into the space of the ether and the cosmos. And we want to vibrate there because that's where the infinite becomes available. That's where the solution to move through the block comes available. This is where the freedom or the strength and the power to move, to take that forward movement shows up. And when we're vibrating in that high place, when we're in that place of joy and bliss and happiness, and we're at a high level of vibration, we're feeling light. From that place, it is so easy to feel compassion, to feel connected to one another. So they all sort of intertwine with one another. And if you can bring these 5 sutras into your everyday, remind yourself of that, work through them every day, I promise you, you are going to feel better. And it is going to help you move through these times and these changes and adapt to what is happening. And I hope that this helps you, and I am sending you a big hug from my living room to yours, and much love.